It's another weekend of exciting Premier League fixture, and we know how we do it on a Friday night, in which we preview the games and we give predictions. And you know how my predictions are. So stick around as we get into the Premier League previews and predictions of week 16 in the Premier League. It's getting closer to the mid-season, and it is getting closer to the serious business in the English Premier League. You know how December fixtures are very, tight fixtures. The games keep coming thick and fast, and teams need to start winning games. Chelsea needs to start picking up points again. Manchester United need to start picking up home points, start winning games at home. Arsenal needs to pick up from the loss against Aston Villa last week. Liverpool needs to start winning games at home, especially at Anfield again. So a lot is at stake this weekend. A lot of teams wants to start winning games. A lot of teams wants to start picking points. The likes of Wolves are suffering with just 2 points at the bottom of the Premier League, while the likes of Arsenal wants to keep winning games to extend the lead at the top of the table. So every team right now is getting ready for this weekend's Premier League fixture, and it is going to be a very tough one. So if you're new to this channel, hit the like button. If you're new to this page, follow this page as we get into the first game that we'll be playing, or that will be starting off this weekend game, and that will be on a Saturday afternoon with Chelsea against Everton. That will be a very tough fixture. That will be a very tough game. Chelsea needs to win. Chelsea haven't won against Bournemouth in the last game. It was a draw away from home, a very boring draw at that. Also, they couldn't win against Leeds United away from home as well. So it's been 2 bad results back to back. In fact, Chelsea have not won in the last 3 games in the Premier League. That is how bad it has been. After the win against Burnley, Chelsea failed to win against Arsenal. Chelsea lost against Leeds United away from home, and now also against Bournemouth, Chelsea failed to pick up all important 3 points. So they need to win games. They need to start picking up all important 3 points. The strikers are not scoring. The strikers need to score goals. The defense needs to stop leaking goals like they did against Leeds United. Also, they lost their last game. So Chelsea have not won a game in the last 4 in all fixtures. Against Atlanta, they couldn't pick up all 3 points despite going 1 goal in the game, and they still had to peg them back and win against Chelsea away from home. So it's been 3 away fixtures for Chelsea without a win, and it's been a very poor result. Now getting back to Stamford Bridge, getting back in front of the fans, Chelsea needs to pick up form. Every player needs to step up. Maresca needs to make the right calls. He needs to put up the right lineup. He needs to make the right substitutions for Chelsea to win this game. Everton, on the other hand, is not an easy team, this period. The likes of Jack Grealish has been playing well. The likes of Ndiaye is doing well as well. The strikers are beginning to score goals. The midfield is very compact, and also their defense, in which is their strong point. Keeping up clean sheet. They are not a small team to play against. Remember, this Everton team went away to Manchester United and get the victory with a 10-man team. They got a red card in the 17th minute, with Gaye, who was dismissed, and they went on and they got a result against Manchester United. So you could see that this team can spring up surprises. You could see that this team can win games home or away. So that being said, it is not going to be an easy fixture for Chelsea. Chelsea needs to grind that result. Chelsea needs to look for everything possible to make sure the all-important 3 points is gotten. The likes of Caicedo will not be playing. The likes of Delap is still injured. Chelsea have 2 recognized strikers, one in Maguire and the other in João Pedro, in which he scored during the midweek game. He has to find his feet. He has to score in the Premier League. Not just about the Champions League. The Premier League is important for you to get goals. Goals need to come from the wings as well. The likes of Garnacho need to score. The likes of Gitsens, the likes of João Pedro, Estevao needs to get back into his rhythm again, like the way we saw him, in the previous game after, just before the Arsenal game and the rest. So he needs to get back into his rhythm. So it is going to be a very tough game, for Chelsea. So head-to-head between these 2 teams, it has been a close call. Chelsea have actually won 2, Everton has won 1, and 2 draws in between this team. Everton away from has not been all that bad. In the last couple of games, they've been quite okay. A draw against Sunderland, they win against Manchester United, and last week they went over to win against Bournemouth. So you could see that they are capable of getting away results. Jack Grealish is their talisman. Ndiaye is another player in midfield that is very solid, very good, very creative. In that midfield. So Chelsea needs to pick up a result. I don't see too many goals in this game. I see a game that is very compact. I don't want to waste too much time on this one because we have 9 more games to predict. My prediction for this game is Chelsea 1, Everton 0. I want to say a draw, but Chelsea should nick this one. Now to the next game, Liverpool against Brighton. For this Liverpool team, they were pegged back last week against Leeds United away from home. They got the lead. Leeds United they went in front again 2-0. Leeds United scored 2 goals and eventually they drew that game 3-3. They drew that game 3-3 actually. Liverpool, it was a good result in midweek against Inter Milan. Very, very good result. But how has their home form been? Their home form has not been consistent. A loss against Nottingham Forest and a draw against Sunderland. They nearly lost that game against Sunderland. Now they also lost and they drew against Leeds United. Before that, it was a win against West Ham. So you could see that it has really, really not been consistent. They have so many off-field issues, Mo Salah problems. Yes, Mo Salah now, according to Fabrizio, is back in the team. Now, is that a boost for this team? Can they pick up the results? Can they beat Brighton? We know how Brighton are. Brighton beat Chelsea away from home. Yes, they might not have the best of away from the last match. Also, they want to go to know against Nottingham Forest, so they cannot be written off. That is where the likes of Danny Welbeck steps up. That is where the likes of the Gambian winger steps up as well. So they're a good side, no doubt. But can they win against Liverpool? This Liverpool team at the Anfield these days is not that team that we used to know. It's not that strong side that we used to know. They've not won in 2 games at home. So it's looking shaky for them. In all competition, 3 games they've not won at home. Even in the Champions League as well. So you could see that they are suffering at home. They need to start scoring goals. Ekitike scored last week. He needs to continue on that form. As well. Brighton can spring up surprises. Brighton can score goals away from home. As well, they've won 2 games away from home this season. That was the last match and also against Chelsea. Not the best of results out of the last 8 games or 7 games at home. They've won just away from home. They've won just 2, and they've picked up 2 draws as well. My prediction for this game, I have 2 scores. Liverpool 2, Brighton 1. And also Liverpool 3, Brighton 2. So I'm going to stick with 1 result. My prediction for this game is Liverpool 2, Brighton 1. To the next game, Burnley against Fulham. For Burnley, it's been 5 losses in a row for them. Bad results. Why for Fulham? They pick up, a good result in the last couple of weeks, but they are not that team that can hold on to leads against big side or against sides who are also struggling as well. But one thing with Fulham, they are a very inconsistent side. Where you expect them to win, they lose. Where you expect them to lose, they win. Now, against this Burnley side, Burnley are not that team that is very, very good at home. But when it comes to playing mid-table teams, they can come out stronger. So against this Fulham team, out of 5 matches, they've not lost against Fulham. So it gives them an edge against this Fulham team. The likes of Chukwueze is scoring goals. Kelvin is doing well in the team. Iwobi is scoring, is trying, and he's also scoring goals. He's also picking up assists here and there as well. So I think they have all the quality to do well against this Burnley side. Now for Fulham, they've not won apart from the game against Spurs away from home. Now, even against smaller sides, they have struggled, but they have really not played any smaller team that is below 3 to the end of the table, like the last 3 or last 4 to the end of the table this season. They played Brighton away from home, Chelsea away from home. Away games now for for Fulham. Burnley started well in the Premier League, but it has gone from bad to worse. At this point, they've been losing games of form. But my prediction for this game is not a win for Fulham. Yeah, I think Burnley should try and get something out of this game. Yeah, my prediction for this game is Burnley 1, Fulham 1. I see a draw here. Even if Fulham might nick this one, but I see Burnley fighting, to probably get something out of this game. Next game, Arsenal against Wolves. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. Arsenal sits first on the log. Wolves sits 20th on the log. Wolves have not won any game in the last 5. In all competition. Also, Wolves have just scored 1 goal in the last 5 games. That's how poor they've been. Arsenal have, in the last 5 games in all competition, they've won 3, draw 1, lost 1. That game against Aston Villa, it was a painful one to Arsenal. They would not want to experience that again in a long time. That is their second loss of the season in the Premier League. It was a very painful last minute lose or last minute goal for Aston Villa that made Arsenal lose that game. They need to get back into their feet. They need to start winning games again. Now this is a perfect opportunity to Arsenal, despite the injury problems for them, despite Gabriel missing out, Timber missing out, Saliba missing out, Mosquera, lot of injuries in that team, but they have so much quality on the bench. That is one good business they did this season that I'm very impressed with Arsenal. Now, even if Arsenal play their third team, I don't see Wolves, giving them a headache. I don't see Wolves giving them that problem, against Arsenal time. Against these two teams in the last 5 games against each other, it has been Arsenal 5 straight wins. So even if you play a player like Max Doman, who is currently injured, he will still get something against this Wolves team, because Wolves have been the poorest team as well as Burnley this season. Very, very poor team at all fronts. Despite them changing their coach, it has gone from bad to worse for them. There was a little bit of encouragement last week in which they got a goal, but they couldn't hold on to that, against Manchester United. Now, I see a very big win for Arsenal. I see Nogard, replacing in defense, who's been doing well against, in the Champions League. He got a good minute under his belt, which is a good one. I see a player like Noni Madueke picking up like he did in the Champions League, probably getting a goal or an assist. Trossard is injured, so I see Martinelli doing well as well, like he did in the Champions League. This is a perfect game, for the striker Gyökeres to score. Perfect game for him, because this is the worst side in the Premier League this season. So I say Arsenal doing well. They've won virtually almost all the game at home, apart from the draw against Manchester City. So this game is screaming Arsenal win. While for Wolves, it's been poor. Just one away draw, 1 point away from home the whole season. That is the worst record, in this Premier League this season. I see Arsenal winning. I see a big win, against these two sides. Wolves have not even picked up 1 point in the last 5 in all competition. So my prediction for this game is Arsenal 4, Wolverhampton 0. Even if it might be up to 5-0. But 4 goals to no, Arsenal is going to win. Now, the next game, Crystal Palace against Manchester City. This is not going to be an easy one for Manchester City, because Crystal Palace have one of the best defense. And look at where they sit on the log. They sit 4th on the log, while for Manchester City sit 2nd on the log. So it's going to be a close one for these two sides. Manchester City have been picking up points better by hook or by crook in the last couple of games, but away from home, their last 2 games have been very shaky. The game in which they won 5-4 against Fulham, they had to scrap to win that game. They were leading 5 goals to 1, and they had to struggle to pick up all the important 3 points. Also, the game against Newcastle, they lost that one. So you could see how it is. And the previous one against Aston Villa, they lost that one. So away results currently is a problem for Manchester City. Good win in the Champions League for them to boost their confidence, but this is the Premier League. Crystal Palace is not going to be an easy one. Against Crystal Palace in the Conference League, they've got a win, which is a good result for them. Now, in the last couple of games at home for Crystal Palace, it was just the game against Manchester United in which they lost. The last couple of games, they went unbeaten. The game against Forest, it was a draw. They draw against Sunderland. They win against Liverpool. They were the one who started this Liverpool's problem. They won against Liverpool. They drew against Bournemouth. They won against Brentford, in which I got that one correct score very well. They draw against Brighton, and they lost against Manchester United. So you could see that it was that Manchester United game that, they lost. But apart from that, it has been a very, very good result for them. This game might be a draw. It's going to be a very hard one for this Manchester City side, because Manchester City in the last couple of games against this Crystal Palace, yes, they've picked up results here and there, but this game is going to be tough. I have 2 results here, but I have to pick one. I see Manchester City nicking this one, but my prediction for this game is Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 2. It's tough, right? It's tough. Something also tells me 2-1 Manchester City win, but it's going to be tough. So pick, man. You have to pick at this point, but I can say 2 goes to 2, for this game. Now to the next game, Nottingham Forest against Tottenham Hotspur. I'll start by with not Tottenham Hotspur. They have the best results away from home this season. Good 2 games, 2 wins at home in the last 2 games, which is a good result for them. But away from home as well, that's where you have the best result for Tottenham Hotspur. One for Nottingham Forest. Good win, at home before the last one. They lost to Leeds, they won against Leeds, and they lost to Brighton. Now, playing against Tottenham Hotspur will not be an easy one. The both teams will come outside and play football. That's what I know. But Tottenham Hotspur is also not a consistent team as well. But at home, away from home rather, I see them giving Nottingham Forest a run for their money. It's going to be a tough one. I'm not going to waste time. I don't want this video to be too long. But my prediction, Sondage is a coach that is very good defensively. Offensively, with this score, that is the problem. 2 scores. My prediction for this game is Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Or 2-1. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Yeah. Now to the next game, Sunderland against Newcastle. Sunderland, it's very difficult for them to lose at home. Very, very difficult, Arsenal couldn't beat them at home. They won their last game against Bournemouth. It was a scrap, but they won that game. Newcastle away from home has not been that team, that can really show something. But it was a very good result against Everton, which I think boosts their confidence away from home. Nick Votimada is scoring. The guy they bought from Everton, he's scoring. I think this team has everything it takes to win this game. I'm not going to waste time again from any prediction. I think Sunderland have a very good side. They're a very good side at home. Isidore and the rest scoring goals for fun. Defending very well. Even if they do concede at home, but they find a way to as well score, no matter how it takes. They were the one who broke this Arsenal winning streak and all of that. It's going to be a tough one for Sunderland, but I see them winning. My prediction for this game is Sunderland 2, Newcastle 1. Now to the next game, Brentford against Leeds United. But Brentford, they sit 14th on the long, Leeds United 16. Leeds United have gotten 4 points out of the last 2 against Chelsea and Liverpool. They won against Chelsea, they drew against Leeds United, against Liverpool rather, at home. Now, how has their away form been? It's been a problem. They don't really pick up points away from home. It's going to be a tough one against a Brentford side that have the best result at home. Their striker, Thiago, got the player of the month this November, which is a very good one, for the team. At home, he's a very, very good striker. Scoring goals for form, defending well at home. So I don't see Leeds United having anything to do in this game. There have been 3 draws in this match in the last 5 against these 2 sides, but I don't see a draw. I see Brentford winning. My prediction for this game is Brentford 3, Leeds United 1. Now to the next game, West Ham against Aston Villa. West Ham sits 18th on the long. Aston Villa sits 3rd. Aston Villa has picked up a very good result in the last couple of games. Even they won against Arsenal, they won that game, and that was boost their confidence. They won 5 in all competition in the last 5. While for West Ham, they've only won 1 game in the last 5. So you could see where this is going. But West Ham at home has not been bad. Just before that Liverpool game, they won 2 games at home on a bounce. But also, they went away to pick up a draw against Manchester United, which is an encouraging one for them as well. But this game is springing all Aston Villa. Aston Villa have the momentum. Aston Villa have the players. Rodgers is scoring. Sancho is getting games right now. The team is moving forward. Look at the midfield, packed midfield. Onana in midfield. They have packed midfield, experienced players in midfield. That has been their go-to, for them. So I see a win for Aston Villa in this game. My prediction for this game is West Ham, whichever the result is going to be, it's going to be a 2-goal advantage for Aston Villa. So it's going to be a 2-0 or a 3-1. My prediction for this game is West Ham 0, Aston Villa 2. Now to the last game, which is on a Monday night. Monday night fixtures, you know how it is. You know, Manchester United have been playing Monday night fixtures in the last couple of games. Now, Monday night fixture, Manchester United against Bournemouth. Bournemouth drew their last game against Chelsea at home. Manchester United drew their last game against West Ham at home. In fact, Manchester United have not won, in the last two games at home. They lost against Everton and they drew against West Ham. So their home form is shaky at this point. While for Bournemouth, they've not won in their last 5 games. 2 draws and 3 losses. Bad run of form. But I expect the likes of Samuel to come into the game. The likes of Justin Kluivert to come into the game as well. They have so many injuries. So many injuries in that team. And it is really affecting that team, as well. While for Manchester United, they got some couple of good results away at home, but just these last 2 games has been a problem for them. But a good result against Wolves away from home, which can build their confidence, but they need to win this one. They need to win this one against their, in front of their fans at home. While for Bournemouth, they've got good results against Manchester United away from home, but this one is a shaky one for them. So my prediction for this game, I'm not going to waste time, is Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 2. So give your own predictions also in the comment section. Remember, betting is not always 100%. Like predictions is not 100% right. Betting is not always 100%. Sure, but it is what it is. My predictions are always good. So if you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell until I come your way again next time. Good luck to everybody who take my predictions very seriously. So I come your way again next time. I remain your boy, Mike. Stay cool. Cheers.